Edie?
I'm good. I'll just sit.
I'll hold it. Thanks.
Is this
Yeah,
the
I'm good.
equivalent of all the girls going to the bathroom together?
Probably.
Yeah, but it's just like the, it's just the dudes, really.
Need to.
I'm back.
I washed one hand in solidarity.
That's all right.
Wow.
We don't have to share everything. I think.
Just because you have the
I
right to
didn't-
speak doesn't mean you need to exercise that right.
I didn't tell you which hand.
I don't need any more
Which hand
information.
is it,
Thank
Greg? Tell me which hand.
Is your left hand free?
Yes.
It's a song.
Oh, is it? I've never heard
It's
that.
my left hand free. My other hand step. It's by Alt J.
I'll take your word for it.
It's been a while. Can't remember the whole thing.
I'm back. It's fucking cold out there.
I just got
Okay,
back
fine.
and I washed my hands.
Oh, I
don't
did.
think
I
you
did
guys-
both.
Yeah, I did too.
Why did you wash? Why did you
Before
wash your
anybody
hands?
asked.
Don't wash your hands.
Ew.
I've
I
been
finally
trained.
found coal. I finally found fucking coal.
How long
It
did
takes a
take?
bit. It takes a bit.
I found
Yeah,
coal, like,
the
very
spawn
quickly.
rates changed on the server. I've noticed. So
Oh no.
okay, yes.
Hi. What do you think?
Hi. Oh, hi. I hope you're okay.
It's really
Yeah.
okay.
So I have brought you all here today because there definitely needs to be a little bit of a yap sesh. I mean, like, you know, some of you had came to me like before in private for like various things related to the conversation I saw happen this morning. Obviously, I was at work, and I wasn't gonna interject myself if I couldn't hop in VC or anything. Because you know, it was like that was a conversation I wanted to like. I'm like, okay, well, people keep coming to me about it as well, so I might as well be in VC for when it happens rather than hop in the chat when it was happening when I was at work. So it wouldn't have been appropriate. But I did read through everything. And I mean, you know, the floor. I will open the floor, right? But I think some of this could have been, in my opinion, squashed a lot sooner if people were like, instead of coming to me in DMs, like talking to like the people involved in DMs and having a conversation with them. You know, I mean, just full stop. I don't even like whether or not somebody wants to bring like a problem up or have a conversation is like kind of on them. I definitely don't think it's really appropriate to have like forced the hand, Makari, just like full stop. I mean, like, I get it, and I'm glad the conversation has happened, and I heard the conversation this morning was pretty productive. I know you weren't there, but I know Falgi and Du, like, worked out their bullshit, because I've, like, touched base, and I've, like, you know, I've done the rounds to make sure, like, you know, what's up with everything, right? But, like, and other people could feel differently, but I can't read that another way as like you antagonizing the situation. Which I know you had came to me in the past and talked to me about something similar. And I didn't press on it too much, but it did kind of strike me as really weird to come forward like that to me with what you were coming forward about. It's not really about that. I just want to know, like, I just wanted to tell you that it's like, between this and that, you know, I was like, okay, that's like I don't know about that, but I'm not gonna, like I told you in DMs, it's like, you know, it's like a bridge that I'd cross when I get there, but like, you know, it doesn't strike well, in my personal opinion, about those two things in correlation. Now I understand the conversation and everything is a lot more complex than that. I'm just telling you that is what it looked like to me, and you know, I don't know what the reality of that situation is, but then like if like viewers of myself or the op block are like coming around and like making the rounds about like, you know, things that are being said in VC, it's just like causing a bunch of extra bullshit too. And if you're like venting, that's like cool, but like I'd also be really careful about venting to viewers when it could definitely just like possibly put a lot of people at risk, you know, because it's like they're viewers, but also some of them are like always trying to get a leg up on everybody else too, because some people are like drama glub shittos, and it's just like, you know, you got to be careful, especially because these are your homies, right? Like you have a conversation, you talk it out, you hash it out. There's that, right? Falgi did come to me at one point prior to this because he wanted to get people more involved because he was worried people were frustrated. And I was like, listen, like fucking dude, you gotta make like time for other people to like get involved in the channel and all that stuff. So I had been like Fauci came to me asking how he could get other people involved as well. And I think a lot of the things he has are, I mean, most of them are like I was like, oh, like, you know, just have other people be like the mainliner for like a stream or something. Right. And obviously he workshopped that and came up with more specific things on his own. But like we did talk about it because he didn't want to make people feel disincluded. He's not really ever done that. And he's kind of gone out of his way. And you all know how he can like fucking talk your ear off with long ass fucking messages. And so he's definitely done that with me in a way to try and remedy the situation and reach something, you know, good. Now, whether or not like he should have talked to you guys, that's like a different story. I know some of you guys he did, some of you guys he didn't, but like I don't really think he's been like resting on that. And I think for the stuff that needed to happen in the conversation was pretty good today from what I heard and was pretty productive. But yeah, I can tell you that when I read the text conversation, I was like, I don't know if this is productive. So I know not everybody was there, and other people might feel that they want to give their piece. I just wanted to give my little piece. I'll probably interject if you are going to speak. But and I don't want to put anybody on the spot to speak, but like, you know, this is kind of one of those like moments where it's like speak now, forever hold your peace kind of thing. Because it's like, you know, we're all homies and I've come to view you people as friends, but there is also like a working relationship there. So it is like really complicated and I'm aware of that, right? And I mean, full stop, like even outside of me, right? Like I'm like my own separate thing, but you know, the op block doesn't work unless you guys all work together. Like that's just the bare facts of it, right? Like you all need to participate in producing stuff to like, you know, like a story, or like putting together a docket for a stream. That's literally how Now Recording worked. And Now Recording doesn't stream as much anymore. Why? Because everybody stopped participating. And it just ended up being one guy and he wasn't going to do it on his own. So it's not really a thing anymore. But it could be a thing, and it is a good thing. And I think it's something that you guys do very well. So I wouldn't want to see you guys throw that away for like, you know, ridiculous shit that could be remedied really easily. You know, and I also think, you know, it's good for all of you to have your own channels too, right? I think an example is like, you know, with Now Recording, Core, you know, for all his foibles that I have with him personally, right? It's like he has his own stream that airs like after Now Recording stream, and he's found a place and a, you know, sometimes he talks about drama that Now Recording doesn't talk about, right? Because there are different things that everybody's going to cover. You know, you all work together, just like Now Recording all works together. But the buck is going to have to stop with somebody. And I mean, like if there was a huge drama, right? Like let's say the Tyler stuff, you know, the revenge part of the video came out. The buck would stop with Falgi. Okay, it wouldn't be any of you that are doxxed. It wouldn't be any of your guys' addresses. Well, maybe KJ and Ash.
Yeah.
But it would be about Falgi, right? Falgi would be the mastermind. It would be on him, right? So it's like you guys all work together, but like when push comes to shove, the one that they're going to go after is him. And if you guys have your own channel and somebody comes after you in your own channel, that's like a different story. But like either way you dice it, I cannot see something else happening with the op block where Falgi doesn't end up the guy in the hot seat for that example, right? Like let's say Greg did something outrageous and Greg was actually a closeted white supremacist,
It'd
right?
have to be white.
No, you
Brown,
can still
white
be a white.
supremacists.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can.
yeah.
Mo-
A
most
lot
white
of
supremacists-
Mexicans are white
most
supremacists.
Yeah.
Well, what do
a
you
lot of
you,
white
you put a
supremacists
hard
are
X
not
on that?
All right,
Ash.
all right. Well, you know, the point
I was trying to
being is
remember.
It would
Jesus
come
Christ,
around-
Everyone lit up for that. Fuck.
it would come around on a stream, and it would
Yeah.
be Falgi who has to answer for something Greg did, which is crazy, but that's just kind of the way that a group channel works. Someone's going to end up having to be the guy answered for everybody. Just like Matt Pitt always has to answer for when Beavers shows up in some dumb hose DMs, right? It's always gonna have to
Damn.
end up with somebody, right? But that's all I have for now. I said some things that probably antagonize some people, so I know that there is some animosity with some people. So if there's a time to speak, now's the time to do it.
So first things, I'm going to preface this with the only reason I said this is not because of other chatters saying shit. It was us. I was having to constantly listen to everyone in the op block talk poor about the situation, but nobody was willing to say anything. And I don't like that I had said it out the way I had, and I could have probably gone about this better, but I wasn't sure of a way to help give people a way to talk without getting a way to talk. Like, I had no idea how much Cat came to hate the channel till he said it in VC, and that it's been an open problem, but nobody was willing to say anything because they didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And that's where the animosity was growing further. And it was a bit of a fuck up on my part when I had initially come to you about the stuff with Falgy Diesel, admittedly, but that was in the mindset of like the channel stuff of not that like Falgy is bad or wrong for those things, but I was worried of if something goes awry, you're going to be blamed for shit because of how tied in the op block has become to your channel. Which again, I can admit as probably would have been better to have gone to Falgy about this, but at the same time, Falgy, you are really hard to talk to.
I do want to
Openly.
apologize to you, Makari, for like laying that on you, because I'm one of the people like vented to you, and I did feel bad
No,
about
so
doing that.
I don't have a problem like venting because no, we're all different people. We're all gonna have some issues, and that is fine. But it has become a consistent like, hey, I'm sitting in VC. Let's just shit on Falgy moment.
Mhm.
That's going too far. After a point, is that even I've had problems, and I could have been more open with it. But a lot of it was I'm going to just let this slide by because it's not a big deal for me in the end. It is his channel in the end. But I honestly, in the end, just wanted clarification. Is this a group channel or a personal channel? Because a lot of anytime complaints come up, it goes, it's Falgy's channel. You have to accept what the decision's made, which, yes, but if you want to portray it as a mutual collaboration, there feels like there should be a little more work together, which was just probably a lack of communication on setting boundaries on how things should be operating. Because also a lot of work ends up feeling rewarded or just like unacknowledged for things. Like expectations were set for people to do things without any acknowledgement of what they're doing. Well, and that's again one of those intentions versus actions or results. I don't believe that you intended for these things to come off this way, but that's how they do come off. Like a lot of the jokes don't come off as jokes; they come off like snide remarks.
Mhm.
And I know that's not the intent, but that's how it appears.
And that's something we did address when we all met today. I'm sorry you couldn't make it. That was something that I hashed out with everybody and that I discussed with. I guess my personal issue, straight up, is I came to you privately because I felt that there was an animosity between us. You said, I'm not going to speak for other people. And then you do it publicly to then speak for other people. I'm going to be very blunt. You included Rena. Rena is not an op block member. She is not on the stream. She participates in helping, but she is not. She is specifically asked to not be an op block member. And I did, and I'm going to be very honest. That was not the impression you gave me in DMs when I asked you privately 2 days ago. Hey, is there something between us? I really want to fix it. Furthermore, when I was trying to speak with you, I did feel like you were speaking around me and not really meeting me when I was trying to message you like in the public space where, hey, I'm highlighting specific things, I'm trying to address your points, and then you tell me I'm not getting it. And the jar comment is a little jarring because I've personally never heard that. And I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty outlandish. Um, I understand and I appreciate that you said that that you could have handled it better. I also could have handled it better, and I do want to make that very clear. I've spoken with everybody. Obviously, like I added everybody. We had a full conversation. We reached different resolutions on how to improve separate things, such as making sure that specific weekends are reserved for someone else to quote, as we make the joke that was we made the joke in the VC before, Sherpa each other through a topic. I had asked Do if she wanted to do something ACC related. I asked Q if he wanted to do something DSP related because he's talked about a lot about DSP in the past. And kind of similarly like we've done with the Meghan Markle stream, like we've done with like the Shadman or the Stamper stuff, the art, the Review Tech USA stream, the recent Paint stream that Killjoy did a lot of work on, and really because that was something that he had done in his past, and trying to bring more streams that are specifically led, like the research is done, and then that's highlighted by that person, and kind of chirping that. I mean, at the end of the day, um, I'm not, and I said this in VC before. Uh, I'm not going to make a decision everyone comes to terms with, or likes. At the end of the day, I have to be the one that guides the ship, uh, because in the origin of the channel, this was a problem. I would ask, "Hey, are you available? Do you want to do this stream? Do you want to do that stream?" And people weren't available. It's perfectly fine, perfectly reasonable. I understand that it may feel like your work wasn't appreciated and things like that. I understand that you mentioned about like numbers and things like that and about having fun. The reality is the channel kind of, we started setting out to do things, and things started costing money. Getting art stuff for the D&D stuff, and it's one of those things that I have to be considerate about what is popular at a specific time versus what is popular in the future. And it's just one of those things where I want the channel to be successful in whatever or whatever degree it gets to, so that everyone has a platform to jump off of if someone wants to leave, or like I said before, like you and Q started your own stream, like Ash has been streaming, like Do has been streaming, which is something Do mentioned to me in like the first or second month of the channel. I think it was like the second or third month, excuse me. It's always been something that it's been that way, but I unfortunately someone has to make the decisions that not everybody's going to like or not everyone's going to appreciate. And I understand that I'm not going to be everyone's best friend when it comes to the channel. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, and again, being hearing that chatters were potentially aware of this does irk me in a specific way. But again, I'm I'm a big boy. I'm an adult. I understand that these things happen, but at the same time, it's if something happens with the channel, I'm the one that has to answer for it. I'm the one that gets doxxed. It's things that I have to consider. Again, I apologize to everyone. I did it before. Do it again. If you felt like your work was underappreciated, undervalued, and you felt like you weren't being heard, like I highlighted as well as in the pin in the message that I put, making steps to move forward with that, through that, and for that, and return to the original ethos of the channel. But that comes at the caveat of if a story doesn't work, or you're not, or if anybody is not participating, we'll just have to reconsider what your role is. Full stop. If
Then
you
the
want to
only
be
thing with that is
a
you need to be
researcher,
more
that's fine.
communicative about some of those things. Because
Yeah.
I think that was also where a lot of that disconnect comes from with like, the research stuff, is you weren't saying you didn't want to cover it directly to the people or acknowledging what was happening there. So a lot of that got abandoned without any saying. And that's where I know some frustration came from. Like if you had approached about the Brian Mullins or any of the Empress stuff and actually said, hey, this isn't good right now, or I don't have this, it would have been a lot better than just ignoring it. That's what I meant by being coy. Is that
Okay.
instead of
Yeah.
directly being like, hey, this is so much too much stuff,
I didn't
or
know.
that is
That
not
sucks.
something that's necessarily fitting, that would have been better.
Okay.
And that never
Uh,
happened. And that's where a lot of the communication falls through.
That's fair. I do apologize about the Empress stuff. When it comes to Brian Mullins, times in the beginning we discussed ACC and it was mentioned that it was radioactive. We avoided it in the past. You made mention that you did not like that that it felt like I was going to bigger streamers or listening to them more, uh, or only ran stories when they were popular. Uh, you want a successful channel? That's how it's done. I'm sorry, that's kind of the nature of how this works. If you look at every successful
Oh,
channel,
okay.
or success is relative, that's just how it's going to be. Again, I apologize that I wasn't
That is not my
clear
dynamic
about
with that at
something.
all.
Oh, I'll have to look it up.
So when I say you run to other people, it's a problem is that a lot of people I get soft pitched here about issues, but it's being soft pitched because you're a friend. And then the only people it feels like you have often listened to when shit has gone awry is Diesel or Cloudy. And that's where the
Okay.
bigger channel comes in. And I also understand though is he's a creator, so that's a given. But that also leads to some of these issues
Can you
about
name an instance that
Unfortunately,
went
yes,
awry
enough.
that I ran to them about?
when it comes to handling some of the stuff between like Lio or that. A lot of people here have openly voiced the dislike about Lio and some of those situations. Or
Makari,
I had gone to Diesel openly about the Himpleton situation because
Okay,
I know
cool.
you had made offhanded jokes about finding his docs, and that came off fucking unhinged. It did not come off as a joke,
Okay.
and that
Okay.
came out of place. And the only time is that when like having someone like sometimes it's felt that it needs to be. And the other thing is I had gone to Diesel about is people sending private things here to others has now ended up on Kiwi farms. Information's coming out and about from people like talking behind others.
Mhm.
And that is a huge problem.
Okay. I full disclosure, I am aware of that Kiwi Farms thread. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. A chatter came to me with that. Pretty sure a very similar chatter that came to you. I recognize that, and I double checked where that information had come from. That information has never been shared from outside of here, and I'm gonna be keep it a buck. Those are I checked that Kiwi Farms information. It does not talk about anything I care about. Elon Musk and things like that are not that I care about. So if somebody is releasing stuff right now who cares about those things, make it very well known now.
What was
I
shared specifically?
it was specific Rotsaway DMs that I shared with no one
Oh,
except in here. The Diorio DM I only sent to one other person outside of the op block, and probably outside of Diesel. It was Xylee. Xylee would not talk about those things. She doesn't give a shit about those things. She doesn't have time to give a shit about those things. So if somebody owns that Kiwi Farms account, we can all fucking pull it up if we'd like to. Let's do it now. If you own
I
it,
don't,
I
I don't know who
please.
did it, but that was a very big
I
concern of mine is when
okay.
like, hey, this stuff is coming out and about, and I don't know where it's
Can I
coming from.
do you
Can
mind if I just
can I say
finish?
something real quick?
Yeah.
This is kind of my server at the end of the day. Why didn't you come to me?
Me about that. I
'Cause
didn't know which
I didn't
semantics. I
I
didn't look
didn't
into what the messages were. I just heard that stuff was being leaked about, and that was it.
but even I'm trying not to get emotional, but even a heads up for something like that would have been appreciated because then I could have started looking into it myself.
This is
I
something that
understand that you
just
did,
recently happened as
I
well, just for
understand that you didn't
context.
want to start. I understand you didn't want to start anything. I understand that, but I think what keeps happening is that everyone keeps wanting to be polite, and now we're here. I understand your frustration of everyone coming to you to bitch about somebody. I am the type of person where I don't like things to sit, and if I have an issue with somebody, I just go to them. It's not comfortable. I don't like doing it, but at the end of the day, I'd rather just end it. I don't expect that. We're all different people. I don't expect that from anybody else. But it's just one of those things. It's just like if you were having that much of an issue of people telling you all this stuff, you kind of have to tell them to stop. It's why I said what I said in op talk or mod chat, because I was getting the same thing, and sometimes it was in a joking way, but I work 6 18-hour days in a row, and then I would come on here, finally get to talk, and then it was just, Fauji's not getting this done, and Fauji's not doing that, and Fauji's messing this up, and Fauji shouldn't be talking to this person, and da 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 da. And so I just finally put a fucking stop to it, because I know everyone just wants to be chill and nice, but sometimes you do just have to go privately to him and be like, hey, I'm not fucking around. I'm not joking. I need you to listen to me right now. And that's also why I said in the mod chat that if you need help doing that, I will do that. But I'm not listening to the constant, well, not constant. Let me calm down. I'm not listening to just problems and no solution, because a vent once or twice is fine, but it would be repeated stuff over and over. And it just got a lot for me. So you kind of just have to just say, hey, I'm trying to play a game, or I'm trying to chill. I'm trying to talk about fucking whatever.
I do.
So I do. Just to finish my thought real quick, you kind of just have to tell people to stop it. Because I'm gonna agree with Diesel. I really do not like how this morning happened, especially since if he came to you privately, it should have finished there. I understand that you wanted to just try to help the others, but they're all grown adults that should have just been able to do it themselves.
Diesel, you had said
At the
that
end
you
of the
wanted to-
day, real quick, I'm almost done.
Uh-huh.
At the end of the day, this morning was super productive. I do wish you were there. I'm sorry that it was just super early and stuff. And I know you have a crazy sleep schedule. It was a productive conversation. We did squash a lot of this stuff. But when it comes to the Kiwi Farms thing, that kind of, I'm not gonna lie, my feelings are kind of hurt. And I'm gonna let someone else catch up to you, and I'm done.
I know, Diesel, you wanted to say something. Before
Yeah,
Makari
I
was
mean,
taking-
like, you can have a successful channel and do things that are fun. You can have both things. It's a give and take. You can't get all of one thing, and ultimately, when it comes to stuff like this, you're not really ever gonna reinvent the wheel or anything like that. So it's just like, I mean, is it like amazing? No. Like, obviously, I don't like. I enjoy streaming for me personally, but like I know that I'm not creatively moving the needle, and I'm okay with that. I understand if some people don't like that, but it's just kind of the way it goes. And I mean, and I'm not trying to like dogpile by repeating whatever anybody else is saying, but it's just like, if people are coming to you about things, it's ultimately on them. You shouldn't have to be, the one to land on the sword and take that fall for whatever is happening with other people. Or if it's like from chatters, like maybe just be like, yo, like a chatter's like yapping about this to some of the mods, and then like that's it, and then you just wipe your hands of it, right? Like you don't need to become more involved than necessary. And when you had messaged me about the Kiwi Farms account, you didn't send me the account. I don't know if you did or didn't have it at the time, but I have it now, and I have been going through it, and it is somebody in this VC right now. It is one of you. Okay, it's somebody here in this call right now. That was Ash's editing that I saw on it. So it is from here, all right? I've looked through the things that this account is talking about, right? Whoever they were a fan of Big Bungie. I see some, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. Stuff like that.
Jesus.
Some posting like they with the
fuck?
3
Huh?
parentheses, all right? So I don't know which one of you it is, and I don't want to make people paranoid, but like I know I don't want to be around a person like that. If that's like, how you feel about black people or Jews.
Yeah, reading
No,
through
I
that.
never had
reading through.
the account. I had just gotten told, hey, these are private things I'm finding that is related to the op block by someone else. So I should have asked about the Kiwi Farms to look at it, but no.
And I'm gonna be blunt. Was the reason you didn't come to Cloudy or myself because you believed it was one of us? Because it is feeling that way.
No. But I know is that
then why
private
not?
things from Cloudy that Cloudy should not have shared got put on there. That is the only reason.
So you think I shared it?
No. I know things that you had posted in confidence to people had gotten put on there.
Oh, I see.
So again, my question to you is, and I'm going to be more blunt, and I demand an answer now. It's no because you went to Diesel for a reason. Why did you not come? Fuck me. Why didn't you come to Cloudy? If you're saying that her private DMs and private information and private things are being leaked, why didn't you go to her?
Because I was told she was told about it.
Okay, so let's make it clear. So Salt told you, because I also know Salt told you to make this public.
No.
He no. Let's call a spade right now, because now I'm pissed a little bit. Salt had come to me because I've heard through it, and I've gotten this Kiwi Farms before, and he had given 2 cents about making something public about the conversations about how to move forward with the channel if everyone's having some issues. So unless you're willing to show
Oh,
that
Saint,
Salt
yeah.
didn't,
No, Saint did say about his messages
Yeah.
to Cloudy got leaked to Kiwi Farms. That was
Okay.
it.
So
That's all I got, and I went,
so,
okay.
but then
Hey,
you
these
think
things are
that,
being shared.
but again, my question to you is, why are you not going to cloudy about this? Because it sounds like to me there is one person who is doing this. The person that you have in a private server potentially, or you have private DMs with, and we could have stopped the buck here, but instead you didn't go to any of us. You went to Diesel, and
And I
and you
admit that was a
didn't.
fuck up of mine.
Yes,
But that
but
was it.
uh,
And all I have is
you
security
admit that
farms.
you admit it was a fuck up. But the problem is that where is the fuck up coming from? The fuck up is coming from you didn't trust us. You didn't trust the person whose DMs are being leaked. That's the issue right there. That's my problem. You did not trust the person whose DMs were being leaked. It's not a fuck up. That's just downright disrespectful. I'm sorry for being aggressive, but like I'm actually kind of floored by what you said. I am a little floored.
So, maybe I'm just clutching at straws here. Is the leak salt? Is that the conclusion we're coming to?
Salt isn't in here.
No, okay.
But that's
But
that.
he's the only person who's connected to both people who would have access to all of the information.
But the issue is that Salt isn't in here, so there's private
Yep.
things from this
Th-
server
th-
that
there's
are being
things-
shared.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and unless someone else
understand.
shared it with Salt,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have left. I understand what you're saying,
Okay. Okay, my bad.
but I just wanted to make that clear that
Yeah,
it has to be someone that's in here.
If we're talking about the account specifically, it could be Salt, right? But the originator is gonna have to come from here, and you know, they're I'm looking at the threads to piece together who it is, and you know, I've found out before, I will find out again.
So
Oh,
it is
thank
all
God.
specifically related to jar, but it is your editing because the font is yellow on the speech to text,
Okay.
as well as a copy of the 2-hour call.
Oh no.
Yeah,
It's something
with
that was
the-
only here.
which was only here.
And if the time frame doesn't add up when the call was released, that becomes the problem. Because I've seen evidence of the account, and there's a screenshot I never even used in my stream in there that Ratsoi gave to me. That everything was in the jar thread. Listen, if you're trying to build buddy points with somebody because Salt gets around a little bit and gives information, if you're trading information to get information, that's fine. It should have been told. That should have been okayed with me. Now we're going to get to the point where I'm going to tell everybody I run the channel. If you don't like it, I will take you out of this section. Now I have to step up and be a dickhead. The channel is mine. My name is on it. If the channel ever gets doxxed, it's my name on it, not anybody else's. So if you are sharing something and you don't clear it with me, you will be removed from here moving forward. Do we understand? I need to hear yeses.
Completely understandable.
Okay? Because this is ridiculous. I can take the criticism that I haven't been communicative. I haven't been as forthcoming as I probably should have been, but this steps all over that because this is disrespect. This is putting your friends in jeopardy. This is putting everybody in jeopardy. So if you're sharing things with other people because you want to win brownie points with them because they get around or you want them to do something for you, it needs to be public. And you need to make everybody aware of it because if the complaint is Falgi doesn't feel like it's a group decision anymore, you have made the decision for the group to compromise us.
Yeah, I don't want to be like like yeah, I'll play nice cop here, right? Like I mean like ultimately, you know, I get it. We share stuff so we could build connections with other people. It's, you know, stuff I've done. I think it's important for the op block to do stuff like that, or all y'all if you like do your own separate research stuff, right? I think it's important to like build those connections. Just, you know, you gotta like really vibe check someone to know whether or not that information is like going into right places, right? Because like ultimately, like we can all admit that Rotsoy is like a fucking crazy pick me, right? And a piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no reason to like to, you know, fucking like
I don't know who this account is, but it's like, fucking making fun of their pronouns, or their like DeviantArt account, like, and it's just like we don't know who it is, but it's just fucking, it's disgusting.
Gross. It's fucking gross.
And like that's the kind of stuff where it's like, sometimes we share sensitive stuff and we don't want to put, like, you got to be discerning about information because, people can get hurt.
Yeah, and that was my fear even covering Rotsoy originally, was that how public all of her information was, that this would end up happening. And that's why I was very frustrated when I got told that it was being posted on the Kiwi Farms. This was exactly what my fear was about that. And yes, I should have gone about that, and I didn't like think about that. It was mostly the fact of, hey, if these DMs are leaking, what is happening with that?
Okay, so just to be clear, you were concerned covering Rotsoy would lead for her information to be leaked. I'm
Yes, I
trying
mentioned
to
that previously at the very beginning, is that I didn't want to cover Rotsoy because she shares all of her personal information to be doxxed. Her first and last name is on her accounts. Her locations on her accounts. Her children, her spouse's names are on those accounts.
Okay, but those are her
And
those are her decisions.
I know.
Those but you don't want to cover it because it's we are going to hurt somebody's feelings when we cover something. We hurt Ratsoy's feelings. I know that because she hasn't shown up in drama recently. She kind of shows up here and there in Beckett's chat. She showed up like once or twice in ours. But like I understand and I understand your concern. But at the end of the day, like I'm going to be very honest, she made a decision. That decision is going to come out whether she released the video on her own or she didn't. The only reason the video took so long was because everyone had to remind her that Jar is a fucking creep. And she defended a creep.
I know, that's why I also didn't stop you, but I was worried about her personal information. And
I-
yes, it's not our responsibility, but when you put eyes on somebody, this type of stuff happens.
Right,
And
but
that was it, and that's why I took a back seat about that.
But I thought the
Okay,
problem with Russell is because she put the eyes on herself when she didn't need to.
And this
Right,
just
I mean,
magnified it. But and again, I'm not saying what you did was inherently wrong, but this was just a part of that. And
but
again, this is just
but
a
this
massive
is
web of issues.
but this is the same problem you have with Lyle. Let's have a discussion about Lyle because you mentioned him. Let's have a discussion about him. Yeah, he's in my DMs. Do I talk to him? Do I talk to him every day? No. Our chatters constantly make fun of him and constantly poke at him. Something that annoyed me, and I'll be very upfront with you, because you mentioned capitulating to bigger creators, right? We were making fun of Anthony Gramuglia and Lio together because they were the same person. You said that I was big broing Lio, and that's weird, right? Beckett asks in his server, hey, what the fuck's going on with Lio and Anthony? And, you start to produce all of the information that we got about that drama and about that little kerfuffle. But you say in here that you don't like it, that you think it's weird that we're even looking at it. So which is it?
It was less the Lyle thing. It comes off like you have a personal gripe against Anthony because of the Tyler situation.
I don't
And just
care. I don't.
between Lyle having his fit in the op block, there was a little bit of a distinction. And those were screenshots I took of fucking the fucking whatever, Blue Sky.
Okay. But
And
again,
I was posting that. And I'm not saying you can't cover it. Just my concern was in the moment, if you were to strike while the iron's hot and nothing particularly large has come about, but Lyle comes into your server, and if you were to portray this simply as I'm only going after Anthony, then it comes off like we're trying to play around Lyle with that,
But
which
so
again is a misunderstanding over the perspective with it.
But
But
it's-
Makari, like being felt to have conversation, we weren't going to go forward with it unless it progressed further. I made the thumbnail, we made some research, but we weren't going to go forward with it until actually something big happened. I'm just letting you know.
Yes,
And
but
not
the
on-
conversation
and
how I
not
read
only
it did
that-
not come
It
off
was
like
not a
that.
volley at the time.
okay, but I want to be very clear about something because that's an incorrect analysis and purely wrong. I shared my DMs with Lio about how I told him to fucking stop. I talked to Sai about it to smooth things over. We were constantly laughing at them. I was never going to take Lio's side.
I-
Ever.
You
But-
also
but-
misunderstood what I said. Is because I said it would perceive as that. Not that you
Okay,
were, but that's how
that's-
it looks
but
off
it's-
to other people.
But it was your perception. That is how you perceived it because you wouldn't have said you're little broing him and that's weird. That is your perception. Own it. Just own the perception that it is yours. That's all I'm asking. Because I don't like the that's how other people will see it. That's how other people see this. Just
I
own
will
that that's how
admit,
you
I
feel.
thought like this. You like to big bro people.
I am just asking. Sorry, do. Um,
Yeah, I
I,
know. I just wanted.
I'm literally just asking for the truth, and I feel like I'm kind of getting. Oh, but other people will think this way. Other people have said. Other people have compared us to Jar, right? And I've never heard that. Other people are being vitriolic. If you feel that way, it is okay. That's why we're here to talk about it. But again, this is inherently my problem because now it sounds like you don't want to tell me how you feel because it's other people feel this way. This is inherently my problem because people could do the same thing about do because Lio goes into do streams and is predominantly in the do snail section of our Discord. I would never let that happen because fuck the guy. I don't fucking know the guy. He's like a little fucking pet at this point. He talks at me. I don't talk to him. I'm being very, very real, right? I mean, I have to be very honest about that. If you feel that way because you think that Lio being in our server, as well as DMing me or DMing Do is a problem, why does it only stop with me?
The only time I've complained about it was with Lyle being in the server overall.
Okay, but then you also complained about how the way that I was speaking with him, right? And we've always said that our server was always open to everyone, and we held that rule. Part of the reasons that we hold that rule is obviously because of the shit that was going on with Tyler. If we start kicking people from our server and saying it's not a public server anymore, we then have to play it very carefully because part of the accusations we made against Tyler was that he curates his own audience and he culls people out of the Discord that dissent. That was part of things that I have to consider moving forward, as well as public relations. It's why I immediately went to Sai and talked to her about it. And said, hey, I told Lio to calm the fuck down, and if he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it on his own socials. I'm not getting involved. I don't know Anthony. Seems like a fair enough guy. Lio's not my best friend. He's just a guy that hangs around in my server and on my streams. But I also don't want any bad blood between you and I. And I shared all of that information.
I'll say
Like,
about the Lio thing. I did share Makari's concern, but it was clear eventually that we weren't going through with anything, at least immediately on between the Anthony Lio stuff.
mhm.
Like I don't like any of the people involved in any of that. I don't know Sai at all. I know you have DMs open with them and they've been in chat before, but the concern for sure was definitely jumping in too early. But I know that's why you don't like going into things blind, why you like having the research ahead of time so that you don't have to make a retraction stream the next day after something else
Yeah.
comes out after somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and I
don't-
want to say real quick too, because I even had to be kind of talked to about this in this space. We kind of just have to be nice to shitheads. I don't fucking like Lio either. I don't like there's people. I don't like fucking Emrao. I don't
Yeah.
like fucking a lot of these assholes. However, I am not gonna be the streamer's girlfriend who fucks up relationships for him. I know sometimes I get a little impulsive and I say things or like I'll be maybe too rude or too whatever, but I'm not gonna actively just again to me Lio is not even worth getting mad about because he's a fucking pathetic human being. He is so beneath anything that it's not even worth being that concerned about because he does our own chat fucking like keeps him in line. But at the same time, being mean to him when all the other commentary streamers also are just kind of fine with him, it makes us stick out for what? I'm being antagonistic for what? There's no reason. There's no reason to be extra rude to Lio or exclude him from the server. And the one thing I will apologize for now that I realize I probably didn't do before is that I should have made the rules clearer in the server from the get-go. I'll repeat what I said in that post that I did show Diesel. I should have made it clear from the beginning. I have been working a lot, but that doesn't mean I should have ignored that. But ultimately, I had to put aside my shit for the good of the channel. Because as Falji said, it makes money and we have people to pay. And so sometimes we gotta just kind of just deal with certain things. I said in said mod talk that if you don't want to mod, If you don't want to do this kind of stuff or be responsible for it, that's fine. Let me know. I'll adjust things. I'm gonna get 2 other mods to help me out with the channel since I'm not help me out with the server since I can't be around as much. And I don't expect you guys to mod it all. Honestly, just like except for Killjoy. I just need, but I do need to be told things. Like again, if someone's leaking shit from my server, or like if someone's making you like super sexual, I'm making sure anybody who's sexually harassed anybody's staying banned. I'm making sure like really weird fucks like fucking Smiley and shit aren't going to be able to come in here. We do have a line, but I'm not going to just outwardly ban creators just because we just don't like them and they're cringe. And I'm sorry if I didn't make that line clearer before.
That is completely fair. A lot of my gripes about Lyle were just the initial knowledge of him beforehand. And I'll be blunt with that. And when it comes to the Anthony thing and the Lyle thing, when I had talked about that, I said to just not go at it too early. Because if you to jump on the gun and pull the trigger early, that's when it would come off like you were defending Lyle.
I've been working on building a doc for it when it comes up, but we weren't going to go forward unless there was like something big happening. And Anthony kind of petered out on it.
Because did I not openly say to let them slot fight so it has more content for it later?
Yes, but that was always like, that's not a unique idea. We talked about that. Like,
it also just shouldn't happen in the server. He's a big boy. He can make another Blue Sky or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, but this is also not a unique conversation. This was an active conversation. And I get it, and I will make the extension caveat is this. Oftentimes, it is myself, KJ, and Ash, sometimes Cloudy, sometimes Greg, oftentimes Q, in the server talking about what we're looking at today. And I get that sometimes we do it in op talk, and there's a lot of messages flowing by, and maybe you missed that. I could completely understand that actively is a big thing. But it's not like you said, hey, are we covering this? You said, hey, you're little Broingham, that's weird. It's cringe. Like, immediately the animosity's there. And I get it. We're trying to hash that out now. Completely understand that. And I completely hear you and I appreciate you saying all those things. But this is kind of why I came to you privately. I was never not going to discuss anything that we discussed. I was going to have an open line of communication. It's part of the reason I wanted to come at you privately, because I don't like doing this dog pile shit. And that's what it feels like, where we could have had an open line of communication. I could have planned meeting agenda, which I've done in the past. I've held meetings and have meeting notes on my computer for this. I have that as a document. Like, we could have done this, but ultimately we're here now. But we got to make it very clear that if the channel wants to be successful in a certain regard, we have to, like we said before, we're going to try to return to the ethos the best we can. Like I said, returning to more, I hate using the term, but the term's going to be, because Killjoy killed it with the term. It's Sherpa-related streams. Having the ability to have someone shine with the knowledge and educating all of us. But at the end of the day, if the subject is not interesting, I will be very upfront about it, because I am the one who does the programming. It was something everybody agreed on when we discussed it. So that is the finality of it. If that is not okay, please let me know. And I mean, I'm not kicking you out of the server. I'm not saying, oh, don't go see this person. But we let bygones be bygones and move on. This is the opportunity. If you wish to say, hey, Falgi, I don't agree with anything that you're saying, let me know. Or the idea of we can't reach an agreement.
No, this is completely fine. I have just everything that has needed to be said, I wanted to say with that. And again, I am sorry, truly, Cloudy, that I did not directly come to you. I thought you already made aware of it.
Can I ask who told you that Cloudy's made aware of it?
Yeah, who said that and when?
No one did, so that person was lying to you.
Because the only person, Saint had said it in passing that he found messages that he had sent Cloudy. And only to Cloudy. So I don't know who's sharing it from out of here, if Cloudy has posted his stuff into here, or what. But someone in here is posting that. And he was like, hey, this is happening. I need to bring this up with her.
It is odd. It is odd that he hasn't told
unless
him
this
to
is
you,
his gay
Cloudy.
4D chess of him making posting everything. But then that means someone is posting all of the fucking calls in here to him.
All right. So when you messaged me about it, why did you tell me you thought it was Cloudy?
Because it was a message that were only sent to her. I don't know. I should have asked what the fucking Kiwi Farms
Fuck.
was because it was late time in a call, and went seeing if they were posted into here.
Great. You know, if you thought it was me, why didn't you go to someone else then?
Go to who else? Then Falgi, who's your boyfriend about that? Or then start trying to make it sound like I'm coming to anyone here that's friends and trying to start shit between people.
Well, you're coming to me, and then I'm gonna have to go around and like ask Cloudy, "Hey, is this your Kiwi Farms account?"
Which again was shitty, and I honestly have went about this really poorly. It honestly feels like a die by whoever I picked, anyways.
Again, I'm not gonna lie. Feelings are pretty hurt. You know, how do I put this? I know I'm not the softest person. Okay? But I've done my best to make sure everyone's felt welcome, included. And I know that doesn't always work just because of everything that happens. Again, we squashed it this morning, but I do believe, I believe what everyone they say when the communication was just bad. I take a bit of responsibility for that too, especially with the server. I should have been more clear about that, you know, X, Y, and Z. Do you really think that of me? Because this account is disgusting.
Well,
I didn't look
Makari
into the
didn't
accounts, so I didn't
know what was
know.
on the count. She just
I
knew
just
the
know
counts
your
is-
messages got leaked out.
Makari,
it.
you said to me in DMs, and you're talking about Lumpy Willie. So I'll just read from it.
Okay.
Well, Willie is leaking shit, just so you know. And I said, not surprised, lol. Whether he's the first or not, he's the person doing shit. So I'm gonna say this as nice as possible. Don't give Cloudy or Falchi exclusive info. I found screenshots only Cloudy had on the farms, and that is just like you're just accusing them. Like,
So
Yeah, and that was
I'm
really bad wording. And
I'm
again,
gonna
I didn't.
I'm okay. Sorry,
No,
I'm
continue.
not listening to this anymore. Makari, I'm asking you actually personally now. I'm making a decision. I'd like you to step away from the op block. I
Okay.
can't trust you. I cannot trust you anymore. Straight
Alright.
up. I think that's I asked you if you believed Cloudy and I were the person leaking, and
Yeah,
why you didn't come to us, and you just heard your DM, and you continued to lie. You lied. That's just the whole stop is a lie, and it's clear that you feel some kind of way because the most aggression that I've heard was, oh, why am I going to go to your boyfriend? Clearly, you must feel some way about that. I'm sorry that is a way that you feel. I apologize if it feels that way. That we gang up on you or we don't listen to you, and it's always blah blah blah. Like, I'm sorry, but I personally feel like I cannot trust you with any sensitive information anymore.
and you know, it's like, and I get you came to me, but I know like you run a stream with Q, you know, and Q's never came. I know Q would come to me if he heard something as egregious as that, you know, and it's like, if you do stuff with him, like, why didn't you tell him? Like, there are people you could have gone to, you know. Like, I don't want, you know, Fauci and Cloudy. I'm sure they're hurt, right? But it's just like there are people you can go to talk to about this, you know, that you do stuff with, that you're creative with. You know, a lot of stuff has happened with everything in like the past like fucking 2 years. You know, like a lot of these people, they were hurt by people doing like really fucked up stuff, you know? Like Jesus Christ, man. It wasn't that long ago when we were dealing with like the shit Nani was like pulling on all of us, taking money from us, and you know, we all had to like pull together and work together to be like, oh fuck, this happened. And that the only reason we were able to do that and then stop people from getting scammed is because we were all communicating, you know? And it's like the stuff with like Tyler. The only reason any of that has worked is because everybody's like come together and, you know, did what they needed to do. And I know it was hard and I know it was stressful and emotional for a lot of people, but it's like we were all open and we talked about how we felt or how we were wronged, you know, so this wasn't like a antagonistic space. And I mean, if that was the case, you know, I wasn't aware of it and I'm sorry, you know, but I like you should be able to just like there were people for you to lean on. So it's just I'm just confused because like a lot of crazy shit has happened and you know there's been a lot of sticking through it. So I'm just you know, I'm very confused.
Ay, ay, ay.
I'll just say it. I am very hurt. I feel very betrayed. Um, I'll be very upfront about that. I would never, ever, if I heard somebody's DMs were being shared, accuse them of being the one that's sharing them. I don't know where the Lumpy Willie conversation comes from. I don't know where that comes from. None of us talked to Lumpy.
That was
That
not about
feels,
any of you. That was
but
about Lumpy
but that,
sharing the Bow Black stuff. That was completely unrelated conversation.
but
Okay, well, that was really fucked up, Makari.
And I'm sorry, Cloudy.
Just give me a moment.
All right, Alyssa, I think the pause has been pregnant enough. I'm gonna let it give birth now.
Yeah, I
Um,
can say
I just want to say
anything.
this again. I've done my best to make everyone feel included. When the Nani stuff was happening, I obviously it wasn't just me, you know, but I took a large brunt of that because she was the only one talking to me, and you know, just saying all this shit about everybody. And I understand it's uncomfortable and it's hard, and maybe you didn't know what to do, but like Diesel said, there was people you could have talked to. You're not kicked out, but I'm just gonna make it so you can't see the op talk stuff anymore. Obviously I'm not. It's Q's stream and stuff. That's all him. He can deal with it how it is. But I'm really hurt, and that's just. I'm glad the channel stuff's out of the way. I'm still really proud of that. But yeah, despite everything, I'm glad this came out because I don't want to work with someone who thinks that of me. So
Cloudy, I just want to clarify. I didn't truly think the account was you in that sense. I never even considered the fact that about those DMs being posted in here and then being shared elsewhere. As all I heard was directly that your messages got posted on the farms, and I didn't see the rest of the account. I only have seen parts of the what's it called? That those messages themselves were posted, not the rest of what the Kiwi Farms is. And that, again, is a fault on me for not looking into it. And I am truly sorry that that was how this has come about.
I understand. Okay. Again, I'm really happy. I again, I don't like how you came at Valji this morning. I'll be honest. That's a girlfriend thing. Maybe that just is what it is. But it ended up leading to a productive conversation, and I'm glad that part happened. I'm thankful that Diesel came out and said that. I just, yeah, it's just, I'm just hurt. It'll just take me a second. I understand that what you're saying now, but yeah, it just sucks because I feel like as much as I'm not around, I try really hard.
I mean, I'll be upfront. I don't accept that. I'll be very honest. You said do not share sensitive information with Valji and Cloudy. You believed it was us. I don't accept that personally. And I'm allowed to not accept that. That's within your right to believe I'm wrong, but that was your message. You didn't say, "Oh, I think somebody's leaking Cloudy and Fauci's DMs. I wonder if some." You said that to. I'll keep it a buck. You said it to our boss. You know who else tried to do shit like that? Nani. I'm gonna be honest. Nani tried to do that shit to us, and then accused all of us of doing that. This is the shit. This is the shit we dealt with. You know who else did that? Pharaoh did the same thing to us. So, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not gonna be fooled the third time. And I want to apologize to everybody in the call. I understand that I'm coming off heated. You know, Makari, I even apologized to you about coming off heated. It's never my intent. Like I said before, we had a really productive call today. It's just information that's come to light that I fucking never heard. Is I don't have the words for how hurt I am. It is definitely going to take me time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It does feel like that because Nani essentially tried to turn everyone against us too. And yeah, it just sucks.
and just for clarity, Nani said things about everybody that was on the mod staff at that time.
Yeah.
Everyone.
She wanted to be it, okay, because she was getting a lot of money. All right, so the situations are a little different, obviously, of course, and I don't want to directly compare anything like that.
You're right.
As
Sorry.
like
It's
the
just
the
it's yeah.
as the boss, right? I mean, I wouldn't call myself that, just for clarity, because I
Oh, come on, boss man.
occasionally
Don't be
pay
so
one or
shy.
Okay, big
two of
pause.
you, but you know, it's like Like I had conversations with like fucking. I think the only two I didn't really have any talks about this with were Du and Greg,
Yeah,
but
I'm finding
everybody
this
else I
out right
had
now.
everybody else I had like conversations with about like this because there was a lot of animosity, and I was going around and trying to like nudge people and like this is conversations you should have, or maybe this is how you should act, right? And so it's like I didn't like I constant like I wanted to be like, okay, they can hash it out, right? Because I think it was like a hash outable thing, right? And like the Kiwi Farms account, like even when I told you in DMs, I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like with the stuff they posted, I don't fucking care, right? Because you know it happens. Because this is just that kind of world, and it happens sometimes, right? And it's just
I'll be honest. From what I saw from the account, it was only topics they found
yeah,
particularly
they're not
interesting.
interested in
Yeah,
Tyler, whoever the fuck is
it
running the
was it
account.
was. I'm gonna be honest. Some woke gamer shit. Like there was a lot of Elon weird posting, and then the jar shit. I looked through it. Like,
Yeah, they
I'm
were on
sorry.
no, you're
yesterday at
fine.
10.
Yeah, you're
So
good.
they were on tonight. Keffel's fucking the fucking what's his name? Fallen Chungus. Carl Jopes is another one that they've been frequently lately. The Jomhas, that includes iDubbbz. So I do think that at the very least this is definitely a commentary account, 100%. But you know, I don't care who it is, right? Really, I don't really give a shit as much as that it happened. Period. Outside of that, it's like you know, there clearly did need to be a conversation about like channel stuff, you know, and while it didn't happen the like most appropriate way, it's good it happened. I mean, like it's growing pains for like any small channel, right? And it's like I try not to tell you guys what to do to but be like a guiding figure because you know I've been there, I've fucking experienced it, fucking you know I always talk about the story. I loved, you know, to give an example, I loved the Loudmouse Boys to death, you know, but with the second there was a problem, nobody wanted to have a discussion about it, and it ended without a single conversation, right? And I don't know how to tell you, then it just leaves you like you have, I don't know, unpackaged luggage that you just carry around because it'll never be resolved. You know, so I don't want that for other people. I care about all of you a lot, and I like I don't like I don't know what the I don't want to tell you know Cloudy who runs the server to be like how she should do whatever, right? I don't want to tell that, right? And I also don't want to like ostracize you because you know like your autistic ass is just as important as everybody else, and it's just even I'm getting teary eyed because it's just like I don't fucking know what to do, you know, because it's like I can only guide you guys as much as possible, but like eventually there's gonna be a moment where you guys gotta actually just have the hard conversations, and I'm glad it's happened, but it's just like you know in the same breath it's like you know things that probably shouldn't have been said were said, and it's just like dude, are you gonna like now I gotta go look around and fucking figure out what's getting leaked, and it's like I've
And where?
and
Yesterday, I was glad that Makari started the conversation
Yeah, me
because
too.
I also kind of, what's the word, fed up, you know.
Hmm.
Nobody kind of, you let it kind of fester because you don't want to start it or you feel there's already a tension there and you don't want to make it worse. So it was good that we could have the conversation. I was a little bit faulty. We were able to put our differences aside. Then we managed to talk it out. So I was really grateful for that we had the starting point there.
yeah, I think like I said at the beginning of this, you know, the op block and even your guys's like other streams, it you can't do it alone. This is a communal field. You think it is, it's not. You know, to use a recent example, it's like Tyler. Yeah, he's got his thing, but it is lonely by yourself, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I did that for a long time, and it was a miserable experience. Um, you know, being collaborative, working together on things. You know, sometimes you guys put together a docket. It's not good for the op block, but maybe it's something that's good for dues, or maybe it's something that's good for Q, right? And it's like a rising tide and all that, right? You know the phrase. And it's just those things. It makes a difference. It makes people care. Everybody's gonna have their favorite op, and this way they can go to them and experience their little idiosyncrasies, right? Those are good things. You know, sometimes things don't get covered on the op block. Fucking other people are more suited for it, and that's good. You know, and then obviously, I obviously know it's like I clearly benefit from it, but it's like I also just really like spending time with you people. And it's just
I had said this morning, in our first call that uh, I really like that people branched off and started their own servers. I had said that as a chatter, like if I didn't know any of you guys personally, the worst thing to watch is a streamer who doesn't give a fuck about what they're talking about. And I'll be honest, I've been I at least I don't think I've hid when I'm not super interested in something, but you know I'm not doing the stream. It's not on me, you know. But like I hear how certain people get about the things they want to talk about, and that's what I enjoy, you know. And whenever I encouraged people to, you know, make their own channels or to, hey, why don't you put something together so you can talk about it and stuff. It was never me trying to dig at people. And it was never me trying to be like, oh, make your own shit so you can leave. I kind of said this morning that it does suck that when I say certain things, it kind of gets twisted into something like the worst interpretation of it. When I don't do that to you guys.
If I could, if I can, I
Yeah.
used this example earlier today. Um, one of my biggest regrets doing a stream was the Andy Pants stream, and the specific reason why is I got bored and I felt it, and I felt incredibly guilty because KJ and Q put a lot of work into it. That is when I wanted Q was starting to stream a little bit more in the server, which was great, but that was also when I started pushing Q and started suggesting, hey, maybe you should cover your own, you know, the topics you want to cover, things like that, because I felt such a level of guilt. And granted, I've never expressed that, which I probably should have, but I felt a level of guilt because it felt like I was betraying a friend by not being as interested in something they clearly are A, more knowledgeable on, and B, more interested in, yet I was the one who's pressing all the buttons. And that does suck. Again, like, it's not a specific dig at anybody. I should have been upfront about that. Just like Makari said with the Empress stuff, should have been upfront about it. And I think because we mentioned it today as well. I'm gonna kind of rehash a couple different things because they're coming up from today as well. We rehashed and recovered the idea that whenever we've ever said, "Hey, come on if you want," it is not dismissive. We understand that everybody has responsibilities, new things going on, and things like that.
I have been fired. I have been fired.
You are not
Multiple
fired,
times.
dude.
You're not
We had
fired.
this.
The only real
Stuff.
person that's been fired is me, so you're fine, dude.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I just like I said, I'm sorry, Makari, but that my feelings are really fucking hurt. And you know, I
You don't need to say more. I understand. Some things have been said and that can't be unsaid. Even if that was not my intention, your results mean more than the intention behind your words.
thank you.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to boot you out completely or that I don't want to keep talking to you or anything, but it's just this hurts. And I need to figure out what's what. And Yeah, again, I feel like not that anyone owes me anything. That's not what I mean. It just I've done a lot, and to not have any courtesy about any of this just fucking sucks. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Just to reiterate, because I know Q and Makari weren't there, so I kind of I want to keep them up to speed, being as respectful of everybody's
I'll
feelings.
get more.
So again, we discussed some of the things. We also, I voiced my own concerns. I'm not mad at anybody. I want to make it very clear. I just said it as an example that we haven't been hanging around here as much as we used to. We haven't been having fun as much as we used to. It was something Diesel and I discussed privately because I wanted to figure a way to reconnect everybody in a way that is effective. Because I mean, the reality is that I think there was a reconnection with all the Tyler shit, but the Tyler shit was also work related and content related, and that became a problem because the ball kind of kept rolling to content relation, and it became a content relationship instead of a friendship that we had. I get it. Everyone has different things that everybody's doing. Everyone's playing D&D, doing Minecraft, things like that. It's perfectly fine. I'm not upset by that. It's just one of those things where it's like it does suck because it's like, hey, these things were going on underneath the surface, and we're trying to figure it out, and we weren't really connecting as friends. My responsibility as it is everybody's responsibility, and I take complete ownership of that. Um, like I said before, I wanted to space out days where people were able to guide the ship on the Op Block channel because at the end of the day, it is fun to have everybody and to do specific things. Again, availability is key at a certain point, and I think that this has kind of become apparent to me when I gave the Andy Pants example. Again, I should have been honest about that, or not feel like I had to spare somebody's feelings or anybody's feelings. If I'm not into it, it's very hard for me to run it because I'm the one pressing all the buttons. I love when you guys share something with me, but if you're not available to talk with it, we can't do it. That was why I made the suggestion about the Saturdays or the Saturday, Sunday, whenever weekend we have, having a specific weekend stream that can be an op block related topic. Or somebody leads it. I know that we've discussed in the past, and we've worked on it. Some of the true crime stuff when uh, 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 you know, um, drama gets light. We've been doing a lot more tea stuff that I think has actually been very fun. I told Ash this after stream that I felt like the paint stream, and I had told Killjoy this. I felt like the paint stream was one of the most fun streams I had done in a while because it was just fun and stupid, and we could all learn something and laugh at something. So it's going to be like that. Obviously, the big caveat, and we kind of discussed this a little bit before, but I do want to reiterate it and make it clearer. If there's breaking content, that specific stream may be pushed to the side because it is breaking and it is a channel that I'll be very honest, I spend my own money on the channel. I never asked anybody to put any money in. That's perfectly fine. I'm not asking that. That's not what I'm saying to that, but it's like that's part of the considerations I have to take is we want to do a D&D thing. D&D thing is expensive. I mean, the D&D thing is expensive. I'll be very honest. I know we've discussed it in the past. Yeah, you can attest to this. Blue Yokai is probably going to make more than $1,000 off of me, and I'm going to be very honest because she's the one that currently costs the most, and they are being very kind and giving me a very low rate. So we're currently still working off of that, but those are things I got to take in consideration when I have to make sure that we have art assets. My Jungle Wumba's been helping. Obviously, Ash has been helping. Ash has been doing editing, which has been very kind. And those are all the things I gotta take into consideration because, there are a bunch of assets. There are things, and people are contributing. So I say that to say there may be a time where the stream that you may want to do that you want to Sherpa cannot be done because there is a more popular topic that is the nature of the YouTube live stream algorithm thing. We are slop content. Yum, yum, yum. It's just kind of how we have to do it. Again, I don't want there to be bad blood. I am hurt Made that very clear. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in the morning that we discussed. Oh, I'll reiterate it again just to make it very clear. Orbiter joke, while a joke, was not okay to do. I know that we all kind of do a little rag on individuals. I apologize if it made you feel any kind of way. I've never seen a single person in here like that. Never my intent. Um, it is purely was a joke because ultimately the happiest thing and something I advocated for in the past was making a space for you guys to announce your streams, to make roles for your streams and things like that, which is awesome to see. It's I like popping in and hearing things from everybody else. It's a lot more fun. I have a lot more content to watch, and it's not the same. It's my friends. It's not I'm not sitting through a fucking Diorio stream and watching him fumble through Fortnite because Bo Black showed his cock again. It's fun, but there has to kind of be a line of what the main channel quote unquote does so that everybody gets a chance to succeed. And that's kind of just how it is. And it's something that I have to also consider as well.
That's fair. I kind of, not to play my spot, I kind of want to hear from like other people in the call. Cause like talking about the channel is cool, but I kind of want to know how other people feel because this is like fucking heavy. And I also want to apologize, Cloudy, if for sometimes taking what you say like as the worst interpretation because like I have issues with like insecurity about being discarded, especially with the Tyler thing. So like I sometimes take like what people say a bit harsher than it means. I want to apologize for that.
I understand. I ain't the softest. I didn't grow up like that. Even in my own job, I have to be a hard ass all the time, and I try not to do that here. And sometimes it's hard because I think
It's
I
really
think I'm
not
just being
you.
clear.
It's me. Really?
I know, but you're not the only one. I know it's not just you. It's something that is a pattern in my life that I have to sort of be told that I need to be softer. And I'm happy for the reminder. I'm not mad at that. It's just, it is frustrating when I'm genuinely trying to be like, hey, please do things on your time, especially since I know something that was brought up that sometimes Falgi sets the schedules like really, really quick. I trust, I get it. But that just, to me, I wanted to make it clear that that doesn't mean you must drop everything you're doing in your life to come to stream. It's never that big a deal. We're never talking about anything that's so important that you have to drop everything to stop it. But it just kind of felt um like, oh, so you don't want us there. Oh, so I shouldn't even show up. It's just like that's not what I said. And I just wanted to sort of just sort of say that again. That just I really care about all of you, and I
think that's
wouldn't
mostly
do that.
them wanting to have time so they can show up because they want to show up more than anything else. I think that's a bad interpretation both ways, which in the end is just communication errors overall. Because the only time I've ever heard anyone say that they don't want to show up is because of the constant sex crime talk that happened for a little bit there. But that's also, I know, not mutually exclusive to this channel, just with commentary in general. How much of this has devolved to sex crime after sex crime?
Does anyone else have something they want to say?
Yeah. So, Makari wasn't here. I did bring up Phalgy's approachability, and it was two examples that kind of really drove home that sometimes he can be a little bit unapproachable. Probably why people didn't bring things to him. I'm sorry if I contributed to any of the shit talking. Excuse me. And the that kind of thing. I have a bad habit of shop talk. I was in the military. Talking shit on your coworkers is part of what keeps you sane because you have to be around these people all the time. I probably bled into my behaviors. So if I'm talking shit and it's bothering you, please let me know. I'm trying to unlearn behaviors in the military, and I'm recognizing I might be a little venti and not being aware that I'm talking shit on your guys' friend. And so I want to be aware if I'm crossing a line. And
Yeah, I will
so
say, regardless of how I feel right now, Makari isn't in VCs and stuff all the time, you know, because they got a lot of their own shit going on, and I try my best to be mindful of that. If I don't know who, I am not going to press it after I say this, but it is kind of fucked up to just, again, it was what I was going through. I finally get to talk to my friends, and I just get all this bullshit. That's not fair to do to her either. It's just really not. Again, there's quick vents between friends, but this sounds, in my opinion, like this was like a repeated pattern of the same problem, and nobody doing anything because they feel better because they vented, but you just gave all your shit to someone else repeatedly with no solution. And I know that's not, you know, it happened. It is what it is. We're here now, but it is something I think we can all be mindful of it, because it's not like I've never talked shit about anybody, but like, I, again, it's not that I've ever vented to friends or anything before, but in general, if I have an issue, I will just DM you. Even if I think maybe I'm overreacting, or maybe if I think I'm, hey, I didn't read this joke well. Can you tell me what you meant? Again, I just, after, again, Makari, I'm not mad at you. I'm just hurt. And I need to figure out what's going on with the info stuff. After tonight, I'm not gonna, unless someone really wants to talk to me about it, we can do it one-on-one. I will just kind of let go after tonight. I do want to kind of just keep moving forward. I'm not going to stop supporting you and Q if you're going to keep streaming. I'm not going to stop, you know, being supportive in the little ways that I can.
No, and I completely understand. And if there's ways I can try and help to figure out how the fuck this information's getting out, let me know.
Thank you.
Because
Yeah,
again,
I
I
think
went about this the fucking dumbest way possible.
I think, yeah, I'm not, maybe I should be mad, but I'm not. I'm just hurt. It's like Diesel said, we've all done a lot together, but I can't, you know, there's some, I have limits, you know?
No, it's completely understandable.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't, unless I'm gonna be real, the only person we haven't heard from is Q. Do you have anything to say?
Well, for starters, I went and threw up in the bathroom during this, so that could put you on a understandable example of where I'm at emotionally, because I don't like seeing my friends fight.
I get that.
It actually, I don't like seeing it. I didn't even know any of this was happening until today. And even now, I still haven't completely caught up because I woke up and then pretty much went right to work. And I knew something had happened. I knew there was texting going on that I tried to read when I had free moments while I was at work.
34 p.m.
But I hadn't really, I didn't understand the severity until this VC call, and that's probably on me for not being there in the moment to read and digest and actually understand what's occurring. But now that I do, I'm unsure exactly how to feel. I know that I have my own blame to carry. As Killjoy said, I came up from the same environment where you make offhand commentary about people you work with, not because you're mad at them. It's just how you cope with being around people for so as often as we are working together, being around each other. And I apologize for that. I apologize for things I might have said that were stated in a way that in my head, I was trying to be funny, but I understand that that's not how everyone is going to take that. And so mutual work gripes can obviously lead to something more personal if you allow it. And I probably was not cognizant or aware of either how often or how much. And I can say that I didn't think it was a lot. Maybe it was one or two conversations. I don't honestly know. I can't tell you. All that I know is that I do feel bad about it. And it was never anything in my mind that I always viewed as severe enough that, oh, I'm actually mad at this person. I'm going to actually talk to them. I think, sorry, my stomach is still flipping.
It's okay. You take your time.
It's okay. Take your time.
Okay.
We're here for you, Q.
I don't got many friends in this life. actually buried far more friends than I like to admit. And that's not something that any of you are really going to know about as much as I like you all. So it does fuck me up when I hear this, when I hear what's been going on. And I'm not mad, but I do hate hearing it. And I am sorry for the part that I played, whatever role it might have been. I know I should have told Felgi that being told to make my own channel made me feel like I wasn't wanted. And that is my own cross to bear with my own trauma. And I probably internalized that, and that probably came out as anger. So I'm sorry, Felgi. I'm sorry I didn't talk to you about it.
I appreciate that. I accept that 110%. There was never any bad blood. I mean,
No,
very,
I,
very
I, I know
clear.
that now. I
Yeah,
know.
it
Q, can
never,
I sorry, go on.
never. I should have came to you with the Andy Pants stuff. Should have told you why I felt the kind of way and why I was encouraging you to make it.
It wasn't that it wasn't that it would make me upset. It was just that I just wanted to be accepted. I wanted to feel like I was a part of something.
You're part of us,
And,
Q.
and that's why the whole shit with Tyler fucked with me harder than I like to let on. When I say I blame myself, I'm not entirely lying when I say that. I just deal with it. I care about everyone here so much. I don't say it enough.
The Tyler stuff is no one to blame but Tyler Q.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's all him.
Yeah.
He had a chance to be friends. I think
Yeah.
that's the part that kind of fucks
That's
everyone
not
up.
the
Is he was let me finish. He was our friend. You have no blame in him being a fucking snake. There was no way for you to know that. There was no way for you to possibly like it's not your fault. We've never blamed you.
Yeah.
Ever.
No one ever
Yeah.
I
has.
know.
I know
I know.
it's still something that it's gonna eat at you because I know I blame myself as well because I knew in the back of
What
my
I'm
mind Faldi was gonna do something and then I was talking to you and I'm like I should have stopped myself but I didn't and then it just felt like me send that message it just caused everything to tumble down.
what I'm trying to say is that there are just things that I left unsaid that I may have should have. And so maybe how Cloudy feels or how Falgi feels maybe would have been different. And then not just me, not just oh, if I had said something, no, Q making himself the main character, I do that all the time. I just feel like I could have been a better person to people that I value so much, and I find myself lacking. So I am sorry.
I
I
said the
think.
same just earlier. I also told Claudia I should have said something earlier, instead of getting frustrated and being a bitch, but can change it now. We can make the best out of it,
Yeah.
try to be more upfront in the future.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, and again, I hate constantly rehashing that we had this conversation in the morning, but it's just the way it is. I don't feel any kind of way to you, Q specifically. I appreciate what you're telling me, and I fully accept it. I recognize how you feel. Your feelings are not only heard and validated, but are completely your own. As much as I will tell you Tyler isn't your fault, you can feel the way you want to feel about it. But at the end of the day, you always had a place here. You always will still have a place here. And that's just the end of it. And I get it. There are times where our minds play tricks on us in the realm of it's like a map, but the map is all jumbled and it's pointing us to the thing that's the most negative humanly possible, because why would the positive thing be true? You're not a bad guy. I don't think that you're a nuisance. I don't think you're a burden. You piss me off, but you piss me off because you don't believe in yourself. That's what pisses me off. And I've told you that.
You're a great DM.
You're a good friend. You care about us. Like, that is always what's pissed me off. And I've told you that. When I get frustrated at you, my frustration is because you're hurting my friend, which is you. You are hurting my friend every time you don't believe in yourself. Every time you say, maybe I shouldn't do this. I mean, like, you clearly have knowledge about things that some of us don't. or you're tapped into ways that some of us aren't about certain things. And clearly, if anything showed to the stream prior to today, prior to this conversation, we all had stories to tell and had fun with it. I play my own role in that. One of the things I said today is that I definitely have to work on not talking over people. My biggest thing is dead air. I don't want to hear it. It actually makes me fucking anxious. But I recognize that that is a theatrical thing that in my head I'm hearing. The more I hear about it, it's literally dead air was a bad thing. Dead air meant something was fucking wrong. Um, so
Also, sorry to
that's
interrupt. I will have to go to work now. Behave, children. I will see you later. I love you all.
Bye,
Bye,
dude.
love you
Bye,
all
do.
too.
do.
Have
Have a good
fun.
day at work.
Good luck.
But
I think it's
you
like it's
are
more like dead. The conversation deadens out just to be cared about more than dead air. Like sometimes when you walk away, I'm like, oh shit, what do I say? Oh
Yeah.
no, there's gonna be dead air. Ah, something funny.
Yeah, and that's my own thing. Again, comes from my own background where dead air or the deadening of a conversation is like the death of something, and it's the death of interaction with our chat, the death of interaction with people looking at it. Because at the end of the day, I said this before. I think I said this in the text thread I put. I ultimately care about our audience and the way that we're presenting something that is fun for them. And there's a wide variety of them. So there's going to be topics that some people like. There's going to be topics that some other people like. And sometimes, in the case of what the fuck, there's one that we did that perfect example. In the case of the because we mentioned it today, and I know I'm gonna get ire for it. The two match stream that was, we found the Rose Malay stuff, and we all kind of like giggled and gaggled at it, and it was something that like was surprising to our audience. It was interesting and entertaining, and something everyone got behind. But it's not gonna be like that all the time, and that's fine. It's something that I've considered, but like that doesn't mean that you're not a part of it. You're not there. It's just something that because that consideration is had, it's just something that was part of the reason why I always encouraged you to make something was not because I wasn't completely uninterested in what you had to say. It was more I wanted you to say it without feeling as it like feeling the weight of Fauci not being able to understand on your back.
No, I understand that. I do understand that. I just in for a while I just, I was happy to, not have a channel and, just do my Discord thing and sometimes it felt like I was being pushed and I did treat that as if, oh, I'm just
I
being a
mean,
burden to people. And
I'll
I
may
know
I'm
I?
sorry, Q. I didn't pick up on that because I felt like you felt a way about being pushed about, but I try to reassure you, but I felt like maybe I wasn't listening to you. I'm sorry about that.
No, it's fine. And I think I know what you're gonna say, Cloudy. And
I'm
it's
gonna
fine.
say that
I
some of that. No. Hold on. Okay, some of that was me too. It wasn't just Valji, but it was never, dude. It was never to hurt your feelings. You just get really passionate about the stuff you like talking about,
and yeah, you're right. I do. And
and as you can tell,
I
people
read
love
it
listening to you.
I read it the wrong way. I
Wimps
interpret the
forever.
wrong way because that's my general takeaway with anything that I view as criticism because that's I don't know what you want to say to a man who's struggled with his own demons, you know, who still is. And I apologize for that being my general instant knee jerk reaction to something. And that's not good and I do try to stay cognizant of when that's happening. And sometimes the depression meds aren't doing what they should be doing, I think. So again, that's why I'm sorry. Because
Um,
the way I took those kind of things.
One thing, and it's not a knock on you, and it's not a knock on the person that said this, but I do want to say this. Personally, I wish you came to me about Steph asking you not to stream at work because that caused a bigger rift between you and me. Had you had just told me that, I would have. I think this whole conversation you and I are having now would have been solved a little bit sooner between you and me. Not saying between everybody, and I'm
No, I
not
know.
saying that you need to disclose everything that you say between you and your wife. Fine.
Largely why I didn't say anything, because that
Yeah.
was between me and my wife.
Yeah.
That's why I jumped in when you were saying it on stream, but I was the reason why, because I didn't
Yeah.
want you to put that on stream also.
Yeah. But it's not the first time I've heard it from stream. I'm going to be very blunt about that. I knew of it before, and I was just kind of waiting on you to tell me, and it never happened. And again,
I did
I'm
say
not
eventually
blaming.
when I stopped being a part of streams, that was why.
I know you mentioned it once about Steph, but
It was also about the Tyler stuff too, and I am sorry for that. And I have already apologized to Stephanie about
Yeah.
it.
And
Personally, between her and I.
Yeah, and I want to make it very clear that this is not a dig on you,
Oh, it's
especially not on your wife. I love you two very, very much, very, very much. To a degree where if shit ever hit the fan, and Tyler started to actually try to do it, I would be the biggest fucking target that he'd ever see. I will show hold, not the point, but it's but more importantly, I want to reiterate that. Hey, I hear you. I thank you for being open and honest with me, and open and honest with all of us. And where you sit in this friend group is never going away.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You have to stop crying, because then I'm not going to be able to stop crying. You have to calm down, okay?
Look.
Yeah, she's an empath.
I think the only thing that's helping me is I'm high right now.
I'm not going to regale you with reasons why having friends in my life is actually very important to me, like more like obsessively so than other people, but just believe me.
No, I'm happy you're my friend, Q.
Q, like fuck, like don't feel like, don't feel like you need to stream. I think if you want to do it, like do it. Like fuck yeah, do it.
No,
Get that bag too.
Yeah.
But
I
like
do.
I was going to say that next, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't, and I'll admit, I don't even stream for money. I forget to link thrones on my stream.
Same. I forget my Kofi.
I just forget about it because I'm
Yeah,
like, it's for the love of the game, I guess.
all this shit is like a good skill to learn. Like, you never stop learning. And it's just.
I mean, Diesel
And
has over 5K, and he forgets to do it all the time.
You don't whore out your
Yeah, but it's
coffee
just
and tea. Don't whore out your podcast. I don't.
That's true.
That's why I scream in the chat.
Yeah. But yeah, man, like fuck. Like you're like a really good person, and it's like you're a good DM. You've taken the favorite DM spot from my ladies from me. Which
I
is
don't know how I feel about that. I think I just DM more. I don't know if I'd be a favorite.
No, well,
I'm the favorite because I do it a lot.
Hey, don't undersell yourself. You're good.
It's a compliment, you bald fuck.
Listen.
Yeah, sometimes
Diesel can finally play.
You know what we're gonna work on? We're gonna work on you saying you're welcome sometimes, okay?
Dude, listen,
You will have to talk to Stephanie about that because she's
Oh Lord.
a
group project.
Yeah, man. Like I don't.
Project's crazy.
I'm kidding.
Like I said, like I fucking like you people, so it's just like I gotta, like I know I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, well, Diesel's gotta get everybody in a call, and now there's gonna be a serious conversation, and obviously, like, there's a lot of shit, and I understand people are hurt, and I understand, trust is broken, and it's gonna take a while for those things to be rebuilt, and I get it, but I like you people, I've been around some shitters before, even in this streaming process. So it's just like this, after the Pharaoh stuff and the Nani stuff, I think this, I was like, okay, it's all done, no drama forever, the end of history. Obviously, that's not how things go.
It's just no end of that particular drama. It will.
At least it's not.
It will
I'm gonna
only
be
pick
real. If
up
this
when
was,
someone goons in VC. Again.
I'm about to say if this was sex related anyway, I would just delete the server. I think.
It's for everybody.
I will say, whoever made the Kiwis farm thread, I'm very fucking disappointed you using slurs. I'm very disappointed you using slurs.
This thread is disgusting. I'll say that. It's
I don't
really
know.
gross.
I really don't know who it is. Fucking, it could be anybody. There's like really no way to like tell Other than that, definitely, there's definitely some op block stuff right there for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't even
So
hear about the Kiwi thread thing until this conversation.
This was a
Yeah, I
brand
didn't
new
know about
development,
either. I didn't know about either.
and
yeah,
Okay.
and that's
So I
why
was freaking
Yeah.
out about the Tyler shit. Like,
So, in all honesty,
There's
it
not.
could
I
just be
didn't
Salt
see.
I know.
posting
I
it.
don't. I just.
it
Sorry.
could be any.
Sorry.
It could be a lot of different people. You know, the thing is that we're not really gonna know, right? And you know, just the 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 problem and you know the responsibility moving forward is like, okay, you gotta just know not to be like accusatory about those things. And I know like you didn't intend for it to come off that way, but like you know, I read that and I'm like,
No,
okay,
it's
that's
absolute
not.
dog shit wording, and I'm gonna
Yeah,
take that one
and
on the
it's
chin.
like and it's not cool, and you understand that you hurt people, and like you gotta deal with that, and I'm sure you'll deal with that, right? And I'm sure you know that will reach a conclusion at some point, whichever it may be. If you feel you need to do your own thing, or like you know fuck off, or you think you know like oh I care about these people, I don't want to ruin like anything, I feel bad about everything, blah blah blah, right? And it's just reaching something, and it takes time. Like I'm not saying everybody's gonna be hunky dory and I fucking leave this VC and everybody's gonna be yelling kumbaya. I understand people are hurt. I understand people are emotional, right? But I think a lot of these things kind of needed to get out and be said because it was really it was like a drop of water reaching a critical mass before it falls over like the edge of you know
It's a straw that
a
broke the
cliff or
camel's
something,
back.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and eventually it was gonna come out. So it's just like you know it needs to be it needs to have that band-aid ripped off, you know, so everybody could be like, okay, I understand. Like I hope stuff doesn't get leaked. I don't want people to get hurt. I understand that when we do drama, people are going to get hurt. You just gotta be like, okay, is this like too much or too far? Is one thing to like there's one thing to talk about President Sunday, for example. It's another thing to say President Sunday's name and then say he lives at 345 Arroyo Lane, New Mexico, you know?
Yeah.
Man, you finally told us where you lived. Finally.
I thought he was
Yeah,
Canadian.
exactly right next to Walter Hardwell White, but
Yeah.
Oh, next to the
Like
pizza.
again, I'm gonna adjust roles and stuff, but again, I'm hurt. But after tonight, I'll let it go. Again, I'm not kicking anybody. I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to run anybody off. I'm not angry. I'm just you gotta adjust some things, and I will sort of look into this myself. I'm not gonna tell Salt about this. Makari, I would ask you the same because if it is him, then that's gonna
Yeah,
be how
no,
I
if
find
that
out.
is it, I'm not gonna touch on that at all.
Yeah, but overall, this kind of sucked. As much as I say I will confront somebody, that doesn't mean I like doing it. Like this
No,
sucks,
completely
but
reasonable.
I do think this was good overall. And I know I work a lot. I am trying to just find time to sit, watch stupid stuff, or to play a game with you guys. So I
We
am
know
gonna
you
try
have
working on that more.
you have no control of that, Claudia. We know that. It's just like that it lands on you for no fucking reason. Oh,
There's
Yeah,
also just a
well,
lot of things being unsaid that should not have left unsaid. So
yeah.
but yeah, I mean like I just don't want to see like the entire friend group tear apart cuz like y'all aren't hashing out stuff cuz like
Mhm.
you know, man, you can go your whole life without learning how to talk about shit with people because I've been
Mm.
with friends who really struggled with that, and you know, our friendship really struggled because they didn't want to talk to me. So it's like, you know, sometimes it happens, sometimes it's not fucking fun, but like sometimes it, you know, it's just gotta happen. I just don't want to see people like divvying themselves up into like little camps because it's just not gonna be productive at all, you know. um it's just not gonna be good. It just makes it cringe in an internet sense, but also you know it just causes a lot of interpersonal drama, and it's just easier if you just get it out and then talk to people. um that's it for me. I kind of gotta get up in the morning.
Yeah.
oh my
I
god, I'm
know
so
like
sorry.
I know like one or two people wanted to speak to me in private. I will be around for that. Just the second I leave, don't instantly make it be like, "Hey guys, I'm going now." Jesus. And I don't know. I don't know if you want to do that. However, you want to exit, you can make your exit, but I am going to make my exit. But the Minecraft server
Yeah.
is there, and it should work now. So
We
just don't
may
go to the Nether
possibly
yet
need to
'cause I haven't
have
got
like
rid of it.
a second vanilla one specifically so Cat with a C can play Minecraft because he can't play the
Okay,
modded
I don't
one.
know how. We'll work on that.
We'll figure something out because we won't play with him as
I
well.
think you need. I
because
think you
I
need
don't
more
have
RAM.
more money for
I know.
another
I
part of.
don't. I think it's something we can figure out on our own. I'm just
Yeah.
letting you know.
More
I'm
RAM
just.
is required.
I'm saying it in here so
Alright.
people don't think we're trying to segregate. Like, oh, we're gonna make our own Minecraft. No, it's specific because
Yeah.
Cat can't play on the modded one.
I'll see what we can do about that. But all right, I am going now. Goodbye.
Like,
All right,
Fine.
thank you. Bye. All right. I'm gonna be for real. I need to go calm down. So I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night.
Yeah, I'm also gonna be leaving because it's late for me.
I have to take care of my fiance's lunches, so I hope everyone's okay. I hope you have a good night, and Makari, I hope you're doing okay as well.
It's appreciated.
Just let me know if you need to talk or anything.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
Have a good night.